Uh,
Big ball, fat, making my end. Fucking big killer, big.
Yo, what's going on, YouTube, man? You guys already know who it is, man. It's your boy, Sports Guy TV, where we talk sports like religion. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, man. Hit that notification bell so you can get notified when I upload. Share the content, jump in the comments. Let's get it cracking. Yeah, man, and I'm back, man, with another video, man. We're going to do a recap of week number 5, and we're going to drop a prediction for week number 6. Week number 5, man, split down the middle on my 4 games pick. I went 2-2 on the picks. Hopefully you took 1 or 2 of those picks and paired them together and got you some cash money. I'm gonna start off with the first game, man. My Washington Commanders on Thursday night versus a Chicago Bears team that had previously lost 14 straight games. Now, you knew they was due for a win in due time, but never did I expect them to get the win versus my Commanders. I did a video on it earlier because I was really upset. Primetime games, we cannot get scheduled for primetime games. We do not show up at all when it comes to prime time. Moving on to the next game, it was the Ravens versus the Steelers. You know, the Ravens were heading into Pittsburgh, a divisional game that I thought would be a close and tight game, which it was. But it didn't fare well for the Ravens, as I picked the Ravens to win and cover that game. And the question is starting to become, I mean, I know it's early, but Lamar Jackson. We all know he held out throughout the offseason and camp for the most part until he got paid. He wanted to get his money. He definitely got his money. But now he is leading the league, and when it comes to turnovers, he got a leading turnover ratio. And it's starting to question, man, like, did the Baltimore Ravens regret making that deal? We all know Lamar Jackson is an MVP type of player. We all know his skill set. But the system that they're running in Baltimore is prior to their previous offensive coordinator. And it's starting to look the same design runs. Of course, you have to use Lamar Jackson's skill set, but the plan was to let him drop back, get more receivers so he can have more weapons surrounded around him. But it's starting to look like the old Ravens of before. Lamar Jackson and them did not get the job done, so we missed on that one as well. But now the Eagles, they were going into LA territory, as I spoke about in the video. And I did say that the Eagles fans travel pretty well, and they will be pretty loud there in LA, and that is exactly what happened. Jalen Hurts, he went off, man. I mean, he threw for over 300 yards. You had 6 receptions from A.J. Brown for 127. Then you had 8 receptions from Dallas Goedert for 117, and also a TD. The Eagles continue to grind and find ways to win. They remain undefeated, 5-0 heading into week number 6. Real quick though, on that Steelers game, George Pickens, the rookie, I wanted to mention him having 6 receptions for over 130 yards for 130 and a touchdown. That means Kenny Pickett is trying to settle in and be productive for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And moving on to the game of the week, I labeled the game of the week, which was the undefeated San Francisco 49ers versus the Dallas Cowboys. I spoke about that game, and I said that the game would determine the game would be the turnover battle. And there's a flip side coin to this between quarterback comparisons. Dak Prescott. I mentioned that Dak has been having turnover problems, and if he turns the ball over, that the Dallas Cowboys will be in big trouble, and that he did. 3 interceptions, which caused San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan, Brock Purdy, George Kittle and company, Christian McCaffrey, and that defense to just capitalize on every mistake that he made. And Brock Purdy showed out with all those turnovers, 4 TDs, threw for over 250, no interceptions. Kittle's had 3 receptions and 3 touchdowns. That is a stat line for you. San Francisco looks dominant. McCaffrey has scored a touchdown in at least 14 straight games. He tied my favorite running back of all time, Emmitt Smith, at 4th when it comes to the consistent touchdowns in games. But San Francisco definitely is at the top of the crop when it comes to top teams in the NFL. As of right now, they just look really, really tough to beat. Now, I got to mention this Thursday night game, even though this game, it would have relevancy considering the fact that it's a divisional game, but the opponent is pretty trash. And I'm speaking about Russell Wilson and Sean Payton and the Denver Broncos. So many woes on that team, so many answers that need to get answered, so many questions about this organization, about Sean Payton and his relationship with Russell Wilson, and definitely the defense. The defense is horrible there in Denver, and so they're going up against the defending Super Bowl champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, whom after their first opening game loss to the Detroit Lions have reeled off 4 straight wins. They are now sitting pretty atop the AFC West at 4-1, and they are 10.5-point favorites in this contest in Kansas City. I feel like it could be a potential trap game for the Kansas City Chiefs, considering that the way that how bad Denver has been performing. I think that not that Andy Reid or Patrick Mahomes don't see the significance in this game, considering that it's a divisional game and they know Denver going to come to play. But at the same time, I just feel like that being on that 10.5-point side for Denver may be a good option. So I got a heavy lean towards taking that 10.5 points with the Broncos. I wouldn't be surprised if that number dropped down a little, so you may want to try to catch that before it does. Next up, my Commanders, again, 2-3 versus the Atlanta Falcons, who is currently sitting 3-2. And we're going down to Atlanta, man. One of my other homes other than Washington, D.C. And Atlanta's playing really good football. I just think in order for the Commanders to take a game here in Atlanta, which the Falcons are favored by 2.5 points, field goal, I think what the Commanders need to do is basically what I was saying in my video last week or earlier this week when I was reviewing the Commanders versus the Bears, is that they have a quarterback that is not really performing well when it comes to throwing the football. They do have a star at running back in Bijan Robinson, and they have pieces everywhere on the field. But at the same time, if the Commanders can apply pressure and blitz a little more and not wait to halftime to start trying to make those adjustments, I think that the Commanders can keep this game close, and I think the Commanders can actually get a victory straight up here in Atlanta. They beat that team last year with Taylor Heineke behind the helm. And I know the Commanders cost me one last week, but I'm going to still roll with the Commanders, and I'm going to take that 3 points that they are giving there in Atlanta. The Colts versus the Jaguars, a 3-2 battle between two division foes. Anthony Richardson hurt his shoulder last week in the game, and Gardner Minshew is the starting quarterback for the Colts. Gardner Minshew is a serviceable backup, but that offense just got Jonathan Taylor back. But Zach Moss, man, he's proven that, hey, man, he's the third leading rusher in the league, and he can definitely get the job done. But to have now a two-headed monster back there, along with Gardner Minshew making some plays here and there, it makes the Colts pretty interesting. It would be more dynamic if Richardson was out there on the field. The Jaguars did their thing twice in London, went 2-0 out there in London. Now they get to come back to the home, in the sun. Does the travel mess the Jaguars up, along the way? We shall see. The Jags are a 4.5-point favorite versus the Colts. And because of the Colts, the physicality of the Colts run game and how they look like they want to ground and pound, I'm going to give the advantage to the Colts, and I'm going to take that 4.5 points with the Indianapolis Colts. And then last but not least, the Lions are 3-point favorites, 4-1 versus the 3-1 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay is coming off of a bye week. Detroit Lions continue to roar, trying to put a stamp on their name to let the league know that they are, and they mean, squibby. But I'm going to roll with the team that has the bye week. I think this week that the Lions go down. Montgomery has been fantastic. Jared Goff has been playing really good. Laporta has been playing out of his mind from the tight end position. And I just think that the Lions, though they have pieces in Montgomery, has been flat out stud for them as well. I just think with that week off, that week to prepare, I feel like Todd Bowles and his staff at Baker Mayfield, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin and company can do enough at home to get the W. What you guys think? Go ahead, man. You already know who it is, man. It's your boy, Sports God TV, where we talk sports like religion. And I'm out. Till the next time.